Ladies and gentlemen, folks, girls, MBs, let's get to the Judge Jeanine conversation with Donald Trump.
Mr. President, thanks so much for doing this. Joe Biden has indicated after the Woodward information came out that your handling of the coronavirus and that situation was not only despicable, but it's almost criminal. What do you say to Joe Biden?
Well, I think a statement like that is criminal because we did a much better job than he could ever have done. As you know, he was months later before he even thought the ban was a good thing, and ultimately he had to apologize for what he did. We would have lost hundreds of thousands of lives. And what I said to Woodward was actually good. I said, calm. We need calm. We don't need panic. They want me to jump up and down and start screaming, is everyone going to die? Is everyone going to... That's not what leadership is about. I'm a cheerleader for the country. We need calm. That's all I've said. And by the way, that was done after. That was done after I had already banned China.
Yeah, just like total calm. When I think about my everyday coverage all the way back in March, I think about how calm I was. I think about how calm and collected I was as we all were watching Donald Trump literally lie to people, millions of Americans every day as he traveled around the country. Someone said Bob Woodward kind of a bitch for not releasing those tapes immediately. 100%. 1,000%. Not 100%, 1,000%. What a bitch.
I don't even know if the book is good or bad. I mean, I can tell you that what this says is that I said, don't panic. We don't want panic. The press will...
So once again, this is an argument that instantly defeats itself when you make it. So was it a big deal and you knew and you didn't tell the American people? Yes, you knew it was a big deal. You didn't tell the American people. Did Bob Woodward fuck up by not mentioning it? Absolutely. But that just means both of you guys are at fault, especially considering the fact that we are living in a post-COVID world. And I don't mean like we have fixed the coronavirus pandemic and we've healed our nation. No, that simply states is we know how bad it is. Like we know the aftermath. We're living in the aftermath of you not taking the necessary action. So you saying, oh, Bob Woodward didn't think it was a big deal, so he didn't release it. Like that doesn't mean anything. Also, Bob Woodward isn't the fucking president. You are. Thank you, Bob Woodward, for milking this and trying to time your release to make sure that, you could maximize your impact. And thank you to Simon & Schuster, who also thought that this would be a good and ethical and smart way to sell a book.
It's only the Democrats that are closed. And in my opinion, they're closed for political reasons. They have North Carolina, you have Michigan, you have a couple of other states that are closed. New York, I mean, look at New York, what they're doing in New York, that poor city. With the restaurants, you can't go to a restaurant. It's like a ghost town. What they've done to New York and people are leaving is disgraceful. Between Cuomo and de Blasio, that combination, I've never seen anything like it in my life. Look, coming from New York, it's a very sad thing to witness. But we have to open up our states, totally open them. They're keeping them closed because they want on November 3rd, they want to have the numbers as bad as possible. Based on the numbers that you're seeing, it's not even effective.
You want to know something? I low-key think if they were to do a full reopen and like hundreds of thousands of Americans died, I think Americans would be still too stupid to recognize that that was a bad move. And that would improve Donald Trump's chances of winning. It's a gamble. And I think that's what Donald Trump is banking on. Americans will put up with a lot of shit as long as they're still able to consume. And I truly believe that if football was back on the telly, if I could go to Applebee's and get my fucking $5 apps and drink my pain away after a long, hard day at work, if I could go out and, purchase a TV again during Black Friday, if kids could go trick-or-treating on Halloween, things that, you care about, It doesn't matter if millions of people die, as long as it's not me dying, you know what I mean? And even if it's me dying, then it doesn't matter because, I died happy. I died doing what I love, consuming. Yeah, looking at, gun deaths, healthcare deaths, opioid crisis, looking at all of the epidemics that already exist in this country that are a significant cause for concern and how we overlook all that shit for silly reasons leads me to believe that Donald Trump wants to reopen completely because he knows that Americans don't really care. And guess what? Americans really don't care because if they did care, they would not let this piece of shit get away with killing 200,000 Americans so far. The Economist went on a construction site in Ohio in a key swing state, and this is what they found. He's done a great job. He's got everyone to work. I'm pretty much 100% for him, said Kyle, a 30-year-old electrician. He shoots his mouth off, but at least that shows he's honest, said Jason, a pipe fitter. Said he especially liked Mr. Trump's commitment to reducing the national debt. He's done more for our country than the past 10 presidents. Wait, what? Reducing the national debt? What happened, my guy? Did you get fucking a pipe fitted into your brain? Yo, Americans are so dumb, dude. What am I gonna do with this guy? Huh? One, why the fuck do you care about the national debt, Jason? You're a fucking pipe fitter, Jason. What the fuck does the national debt do for you, you dumb fuck? That's one. And two, how the fuck would you think that Donald Trump is reducing the national debt? I care about the national debt. I'm a pipe fitter in Ohio, and I fucking care about the national debt. Also, I love the wall, and I love endless military spending, and I also love tax cuts for the wealthy people. That does not trickle down to me, but it doesn't matter. All things that fucking destroy the national debt. He's done more for our country than the past 10 presidents put together, said an older builder, Jeff, skimming wet concrete on a new road. He's made, who is it, China or Japan, pay our farmers billions of dollars. He's got healthcare done, which Democrats can never do. He built the wall. He got healthcare done. I don't know if I'll get unpartnered, but if I keep reading this, I'm going to get banned for saying things about myself, about what I want to do to myself when I read stuff like this. So I'm gonna move back to the fucking interview, which is somehow less malding for me.
Look, I like people to go out and vote, but if they want to sign something, you know, you have solicited and unsolicited ballots.
Yep.
In the country, they're going to send out 80 million unsolicited. In other words, people that don't even know what a ballot is, all of a sudden, here comes a ballot. Now, we don't even know if the people are going to get it. That's my problem. Supposing they're not sending them to Republican neighborhoods, supposing they're not sending them to wherever, or supposing the people aren't giving them back.
Again, why have a conversation as the president about exactly what's going on, things that you literally have control over too, by the way, things that you can influence, when you can just make stuff up? Because when you just make stuff up, it's actually successful. Because the fucking pipe fitter turns around and thinks, I love your commitment to reducing the national debt, sir. Just lie. Which is exactly what he's doing. He's like, what if there were a bunch of ninjas inside of the Postal Service that secretly would do shadow clone jutsu to make sure that they got all the ballots? What if they stole all the ballots from the old white people, folks? They love me. They want to vote for me. But ninjas inside the USPS, they're stealing all the ballots. They're doing shadow clone jutsu. Just make it up, dude. It's nearly as fucking psychotic as just claiming without any evidence whatsoever, with zero fucking basis, that like, what if they won't send the mail out to Republican neighborhoods? When Donald Trump says stuff like this, I immediately think it's 100% pure projection. And it makes me feel like he's going to do that, or he has already asked people if he could potentially do that to Democrats. You know what I mean?
So you talked about election night. I want to talk about election night also, but it brings me to the issue of law and order. And
completely unrelated, but I love that. I love that because she's like, come on, do some racism. You're talking too much about this fucking election shit. No one gives a fuck. Okay? You did it. Come on. Let's talk about racism. Give me some of that good racism action, dude. Come on. I fucking need it.
you, when you ran in 2016, you were the law and order candidate. It's almost prescient to think that 4 years later, that is one of the main issues. So we've got this anarchy going on in the streets. We've got towns run by and states run by Democrat governors and mayors who are refusing to allow the National Guard to come in. There are people in those cities and states who want order to come in, but you can't go in unless they request your help.
That's right. Every problem.
What do you?
Once again, idiotic, but of course, Republican framing on this issue is great, and Democrats have taken the bait hook, line, and sinker. Everybody wants law and order, dumbass. Not a single person is like, no, I fucking love chaos. Like, not a single normal human being is like, no, I revel in the chaos. I love everything burning down. It is my favorite. Don't clip this out of context, you fucking pieces of shit. No one is like, ooh, cool, my city's on fire. No, that's not the case. I'm not going to get into the conflict resolution concept that I've talked about a million gajillion times over. Okay, I'll get into it a little bit. Two ways to resolve conflict: concessions or using the long dick of the law and violently suppressing the people that are protesting after those protests turn with escalations by the police force or by outside agitators in the form of white paramilitaries or white militias. You either make more conflict and you try to violently squash it, which only goes to a worse and worse place, and you radicalize more people in the long run, or you stop and you say, well, you guys are human beings, you guys are citizens, you're voters, you're taxpayers, we're going to hear you out. Good leaders say, we're going to hear you out. Unfortunately, we've always had historically really bad leaders. If the same state actors, the cops, are a clear and present danger in your neighborhoods, if every altercation that you might have with a police officer has a likelihood that you will end up bruised, beaten, or worse, dead, then you don't have law and order in your neighborhood. That's the whole point. That's why people are protesting, because they don't have law and order. And they've been pushed and pushed and pushed. And when they protest peacefully, they get booed. When they protest peacefully during the national anthem, the president says, get the fuck out of my country. If you want the riots to stop, and I do, I certainly want them to stop as well. Everyone wants the fucking riots to stop. Then make concessions and listen to the demands of the people. Please.
Say there are threats. They say that they're going to threaten riots if they lose on election night, assuming we get a winner on election night. What are you going to do?
We'll put them down very quickly.
How are you
if they
gonna do
that.
that?
We have the right to do that. We have the power to do that if we want. Look, it's called...
Yeah, great. That's great. That seems like a good thing for the president to say. Very cool. Love that.
I love the system.
Insurrection. We just send in and we do it very easy. I mean, it's very easy. I'd rather not do that because there's no reason for it. But if we had to, we'd do that and put it down within minutes. Within minutes. We have, even with the horrible things that are going on in New York and Chicago, all run by Democrats. Everything we're talking about, you know, is run by Democrats. We're not talking about one Republican place. It's all run by Democrats.
I wonder why. I mean, there were protests all around the country. You're the one who sent them to fucking Democrat neighborhoods. It's not like fucking Confederate statues weren't being toppled in the South. They were. You didn't send your fucking shock troopers over to fucking Alabama neighborhoods. You sent them to Portland on purpose. I like that he set it up so that he could fucking turn around. He literally set it up in a way where it's like, Democrats are responsible. They're at fault. And also on top of that, that's why I'm sending the fucking federal agents to Democratic neighborhoods and Democratic cities to defend courthouses or whatever the fuck. Interesting, though, that no one is considering that. No one's talking about that. Your title is little more than clickbait. Hello, welcome to YouTube. And also, he's literally coming to the part where he's going to say that he took out a hit in literally a second. Anyway, God, I got to pee so bad.
But you know,
well, the suburbs is going to be next. Look,
yeah,
the suburbs, the people, these same protesters, but they're not protesters. They're anarchists, they're agitators, and they're rioters.
Who are they?
They're people that in many cases are paid.
By whom?
And then they're stupid kids.
Who are they? Who's paying them?
People that we're looking at right now. We're looking at them right now.
Dude, come on, dude. Oh, come on. He's right. He's right. They. Just say it, pussy. I mean, he will never say it because he would lose. Actually, you know what? I'm almost certain that if he said Jews are paying for them, Sheldon Adelson and shit wouldn't come out and be like, I'm so mad that he said this, that he's literally doing like anti-Semitic conspiracies. He would probably get away with it.
Can you tell me?
No, not yet, but you'll be going to be finding out pretty soon. Look, they're stupid people too, because they'll be overthrown as soon as they get their wish. If he would say, come into Portland, within a half an hour, the whole thing would be solved.
But he's not going to say that.
The governor's gotten closer. Look what's going on out there. I will tell you.
Kate Brown,
the governor has gotten closer. I spoke to the governor 2 days ago.
Good.
They're arresting a lot of people.
Good.
Now, we sent in the U.S. Marshals for the killer, the man that killed the young man in the street. Just shot him. I mean, it was on television. Cold-blooded, killed him. He didn't like his hat, or he didn't like something, and it wasn't a Trump hat.
Oh, he's just like, I'm glad that Donald Trump could just like lie about what happened in Portland. Okay, cool. 17-year-old was a hero, but the guy in Portland, he's a murderer. He was assassinating. He was looking for the hat.
It was
prayer.
It was a lot. It was a religious hat.
Right.
And he shot him cold blood. 2.5 days went by, and I put out, when are you going to go get him? And the U.S. Marshals went in to get him.
Good.
And in a short period of time, they ended in a gunfight. This guy was a violent criminal.
A lot of them out there.
And the U.S. Marshals killed him. And I will tell you something. That's the way it has to be. There has to be retribution.
This is why my title is Trump Admits to Assassination ? For those of you who are saying, what? That's a misleading title. When he literally just said that there has to be retribution in the form of state-sanctioned assassination, then I don't know what to tell you. You're probably in here because you want to spam Trump 2020 Paw Goo because you're 14 years old. Says, you're brain diseased and young. You're so fucking stupid. It's fun stuff.
when you have crime like this. There can't be guys standing up that want to fight. They want to fight.
But
you can't throw bricks at people with shields.
But the problem, Mr. President, you and I both agree. The problem is there are now prosecutors who are not prosecuting the protesters. This is like a grassroots level. They're being funded by socialists who are now electing people like I used to prosecute crime. They're letting them go.
So what's going to happen, and this is a shame, you're going to have a backlash like you've never seen if these people don't stop. Because you have very smart, very tough people that aren't going to take it anymore. And once they say, we're not going to take it anymore, it's going to end in a very vicious backlash. And that's a terrible thing.
How does it end?
What? Is this how the video ends? The remaining 4 minutes of this interview.
That's a terrible thing.
How does it end?
We're not there yet, but you have people
How does it end? Like this, randomly.
that are very angry. You start seeing them, the trucks come in and this comes in and that. All of a sudden, you're going to see a backlash, the likes of which you haven't seen in many, many years. Because people...
We know a couple things. We know that the right, like the right-wing militias are very organized. We know that the far right have had a lot more confirmed kills than the quote-unquote far left. Antifa has like, what, one, I guess, now? There's one kill, but that's the big deal, of course. One kill, one confirmed kill. That's it. That's the end all be all. Immediately gets clapped by fucking federal marshals, federal agents the next day. President Donald Trump says that's good. That's retribution that was necessary. Right-wing Trump supporters have like 300 confirmed kills or some insane number. I don't know what the exact number is. And it's like, no, that's not a big deal. What are you, crazy? And now, knowing all of that, knowing what we do, knowing right-wing militias are infinitely more dangerous to America's national security. And this is not me saying this. This is his own intelligence community saying this. Is Department of Homeland Security, the FBI. Donald Trump's intelligence community has reports out there that say Antifa, whether you like to admit it or not that big of a threat, doesn't pose an immediate threat. White supremacist terror, on the other hand, does. Historically and certainly still to this day in America, white supremacists and far-right anti-government extremists are a much larger threat to our national security. They have made up more than 73% of all domestic terror incidents since 9/11. They have nearly all the kills until this like last Antifa kill, confirmed kill. And Donald Trump, knowing all of that, is still saying there's going to be backlash. He's emboldening them. He is saying that he is not afraid of using the paramilitary forces on top of the police force that he already just admitted he will use in violent retaliation.
Last question. Debates, 2 weeks. You're not doing the traditional prep where somebody stands in where Joe Biden does. How do you think he's going to do?
I think I'll do it the same way I did it last time, basically. It's, you know, sometimes like Romney was so bad on the debates, and he studied for 3 weeks. He locked himself in a cabin. He was so crammed full of information
couldn't get it
that
out.
when they asked him a question, he couldn't speak. Okay? Debates worked out well for me. Debates have worked out well for me. I don't know what's going to show up with Biden. I mean, I see different guys. I see a Biden that really tied Bernie. You know, everyone thought he was going to be killed by Bernie, and it was a tie. It was nothing. It wasn't Winston Churchill, but it was fine. But I've also seen him in some of the other debates where he wasn't even coherent. He couldn't utter in his.
How do you think he goes from incoherent to coherent?
I think there's probably, possibly drugs involved. That's what I hear. I mean, there's possibly drugs. I don't know how you can go from being so bad where you can't even get out a sentence. I mean, you saw some of those debates with the large...
I've told you guys, I love this take because it's, once again, very likely pure projection, as Donald Trump always likes to do. And two, it works so well with like the common brain. And it'll probably, actually, as a matter of fact, it'll probably piss off like liberals too. It's like a double whammy. It'll piss off like all the liberal elites and say like, oh my God, how could he just claim without any evidence whatsoever that Biden is on drugs? But like the average American who like pays a fraction of attention to this is like, yeah, it does seem kind of weird that Biden went from Joe 303 to like actually forming coherent sentences. You know what I mean? Kyle believes it's both of them, and I agree. I think so too. I think they both are getting pumped full of fucking some form of like cocktail with nootropics and fucking B12 injections and shit like that. Like, yeah, no shit. They're both old.
Number of people on the stage. He was, I mean, I used to say, how is it possible that he can even go forward? And he only won because Elizabeth...
Also, I don't even have a problem with that. Like, fun fact, I've said this already. Don't have a problem with fucking Joe Biden using whatever fucking method he can to get pumped full of fucking adrenochrome or whatever the fuck. Adrenochrome. Joe Biden's eating baby spinal fluid. He's doing it. He's eating babies. And yeah, good. Get him some more fetuses, dude. Feti? Is that plural for fetus? Feti? Whatever it is, I'm on board.
Elizabeth Warren didn't drop out. Had she dropped out, Bernie would have won Super Tuesday every state, and you would have had Bernie instead of Biden.
All right.
But I like it the way it is.
Sure you do. I appreciate your time, Mr. President. Thank you so much.
Your
I know
show
how
is
precious
great.
it is.
Well, your show is great. We appreciate it very much. Thank you.
Okay, that was really good. Is it true that Antifa are using the brutal and lethal torture method known as CBT on Mike Pence and Ted Cruz? Cock and ball torture, yes. You guys like that video? Please don't forget to subscribe, because a lot of people that watch my videos don't subscribe apparently, and hit that bell so you stay informed with the latest and greatest videos from this channel. I'm also live every day on twitch.tv/HasanAbi after 11 a.m. Pacific.
Oh, you're such
you can check out most of my videos there. Scripted, yeah.